Well, you will not find a better group of more dedicated racers than right here in the DNQ karting series. They will do anything it takes to get here at the Millbridge Speedway to race. Tonight is the Escape Pool Cleaning race night here at the Millbridge Speedway. We look for a very exciting race and a lot of action. Well, guys, last race was the Carroll Photography Night on April 28th, and Adam Welsh just checked out and dominated this thing.
Yep, and he, in true Adam Welsh fashion, choked with 5 to go and didn't get the job done.
Good night for Adam, but it just wasn't meant to be, as he did not come home with a check that night.
And a driver that dominated the last Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series feature was Adam Welsh. Adam, the 5 to go caution got you, which it gets a lot of people, but you were definitely dominant there in the bottom last race. I don't think the bottom group is going to be there this race, though. But is there something that you have figured out for the bottom that everybody else doesn't, or is it running the top is different for you, or what do you think it is that made you so dominant last race?
You know, like every week I get ready for the top. Like last race, I was ready for the top. I was geared with a big clutch and everything, and there was no top in qualifying. So I threw a Hail Mary at it, and we're all right on the bottom. We're fair. And last week we just hit it right, and we were good. And the top, we struggle. We over-rotate the center, and everybody else seems to be really good. So on the bottom, I'm actually kind of tight in the center, and everybody else over-rotates. So it just worked out, and we have no notes on what we did different because we didn't do anything different, and it just worked out. So we'll see what we got.
Yeah, we look at points, and you're up there. So you're still within striking distance of the points leader right now. So, I mean, what is it going to take to finally get this championship, maybe, and figure out your setup for the top?
Well, so every week, you know, you can't come test and get the right racing groove to test on. You can come test and you can goof off and have fun and try new things, but you're never going to be on the racetrack that we race on because of the amount of karts. So at the end of the day, it's to get there, it's just trial and error every night, but you can't screw yourself and get out of the box. So we're in striking distance, but we can't screw up anymore. We can't have these 5th place and 6th place finishes like we've had the last 2 races. So we need to continue our momentum. And I screwed up last week. I opened the door, and then I got door slammed, I don't know, 6, 7 more times, and it is what it is. We're on the bottom. So that's what he said, and we'll go from there.
What happens when the wires touch when you're racing? Is it just a complete meltdown, or is it just you like lose focus when you're getting ready to hit somebody?
So per se, the wires touch. It's just I'm kind of tunnel vision on one person, but I've been trying to not have that happen, and last week I didn't until about the 7th time, and then the wires touched. But you know, I mean, I made sure I finished the race clean and all, but I didn't wreck nobody, so whatever.
Adam Welsh in this RCI Construction Group, LJ Designs piece, hoping to get that tunnel focus and focus on winning this race tonight. Thanks. All right, guys. Well, last race, Zach Smith failed his tire sample. He did pay his fine, so that will go to the person next race in the Hooters or the Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup Series. And man, this pretty much killed his chances at winning the championship this year. But that's what happens when you get caught doing this stuff.
Yeah, don't cheat. I mean, that pretty much says it all right there. Not only is it $300, which is more than the budget for some of these teams in the garage area, but all that money goes to all of his competitors the next race. So you're basically paying everybody else to beat you.
For me, it's going against the whole purpose. It's like Fauci recommending masks when they don't work. You know what I mean? You're sitting here running a class. Everyone's having a good time. We're sending people home because the word gets out that we tech tires, we do tire samples, and you're not supposed to prep the Hoosiers. People come out to race the class, and what do people start doing? Prepping the damn Hoosiers, ruining the whole point of the class. So I hope we weed these folks out. People learn. It's racers' natural intuition. I get it, but it's not the purpose of this class. Run the prep stuff if you want to do that shit.
And we've seen this before where people have, dabbled in it. Bobby Showtime, Hall of Famer, comes to mind, where he got tossed for tire prep, came back, everything stock, legal, and still winning races. So you can win with legal shit.
Yeah, not to post Zach Smith's name up here and just talk bad about him the whole time. He paid his fine. He admitted, hey, look, yeah, we were, just paid it immediately. Like, yeah, okay, I know where the limit is. I know what's going on here. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to pay this fine, and I'm going to come back the next race and race my ass off. So you got to commend him for that. A lot of guys don't do that, and they just stick with it. But Zach Smith, we got to commend you for it. We're just letting everybody know when you do this, it really hurts your chances of winning the championship. Well, let's go down and talk to Johnny Kidwell, who is filling in for some drivers tonight. I'm down here with John Kidwell, who ran his first treaded Hoosier race a couple weeks ago, and it looks like you caught the eye of everybody because now you're driving Kinder's Champ Kart and Stephen Broy's Cup Kart here tonight. I mean, you ran your first racing in the treaded class. What was it like, and what do you like about this style of racing?
Man, I'll tell you what, it was fun. It was definitely a learning experience. We had a race in our way in the B main, made it into the A main, started 15th, got up to 5th, and these tires are definitely a little bit different than running on the maxis and stuff like that. So we just got locked down and wound up running 9th and then pulled off 5 to go. Didn't want to wreck anything, but man, I can't express how much fun this is. You ain't got to worry about prep and stuff like that. You guys been getting some good competition out here in the USAC series. So I had John. He gave me a call up earlier this week and asked if I wanted to ride, and I said, hell yeah, man. We'll go out there and try to win this damn thing. So I can't thank him enough. Especially for what he's doing for me. It's going to be another learning experience to run in the top. So it's going to be a little hairy, but hopefully with these champ carts, the open wheels out in front, you touch anybody once and you're sent off to the, out into the wall or down the infield. But tonight's goal is to go out there, kick some ass, and keep the cart clean and show everybody we're here.
Yeah, you run these a lot. I've seen you run champ carts all the time, so you got a lot of experience in that. The prep stuff you run all the time. What were some of the immediate driving differences that you had between the prep tires and the treads?
It feels a lot slower in the cart, the speed, but you look at the times and they're roughly about the same as the maxi tires. It's just the relaxation when you come back to the trailer, not worrying about to take the tires off, cleaning them like that. It's just all you got to do is air pressure change, gear change, and you're off into the next race. It's definitely a lot nicer, not worrying about wiping which kind of prep, how soft you need the dang tire. So it's definitely not, my, specialty, but I'm damn determined to try to get these things going and get me a damn win.
He's in some good equipment tonight. We'll see if he can get it done in the USAC Series and the Escape Pool Cup Series. All right, Jay-Z, let's talk about the tech cart and moving lead.
Unless you live in Flint, Michigan, lead can be good. It can help you balance out that go-kart. Dry, slick, maybe put a little more lead on the right-hand side of the go-kart. Maybe you need more positive front end, you put lead in the front, or to turn left better, hang it on the left. Lots you can do with lead on that go-kart.
I just got a little bit of whiskey up in my nose when you said that.
Yeah, this is all great adjustments that we'll definitely see in the Filthy Mechanic Clothing Pro Cup Series. Tonight, let's go down and talk to Mark Ellis. That was so good. Flint, Michigan. Finish Line Wash Pros is a great sponsor of the DNQ Finish Line Wash Pros Dash Series. But owner Mark Ellis, you were out here and you were going to race Mike Rout's cart tonight. Do you have any experience with this? Have you raced before? What is your experience level coming in tonight?
Yeah, so I used to run WKA and IKF up in upstate New York for a while, probably 8 or 10 years. Ran stock light, stock medium with all the guys up in Syracuse, and then come down here, met Ronnie and Mike and all the guys, and it's been a couple years since I've been in the cart. Never been to race here at Millbridge, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, the Treaded Hoosier 2, a completely different ball of wax for what you're used to dealing with. Do we see you run the top tonight? Do you ease up on it? What do you think tonight?
Whatever's quickest.
If you need any kind of pressure washing, Mark Ellis is the man to talk to about that with Finish Line Wash Pros. He's going to give it his best shot here tonight. Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series starting lineup via the invert. It'll put Mickey Roop on the pole, Robert Showalter on the outside pole.
Row number 2, the better brother Jesse Riggins and the bad kitty Adam Welsh.
Row 3, Nick Stroop and CJ Winslow in the deuce.
Clint Mills making a surprise Cup Series start with Zach Campolonia.
Across the red, Craig Smith, and first-timer Mark Ellis.
John Kidwell in the 55X, and Dylan Latour.
Curtis Markham will round out the field for tonight's Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series. Let's check it out, man. The graphic is wrong on the weight. The weight is 425, but AKRA, NKA clones, man, these things rip around this place, man. It is out of control how fast these guys are.
Has that graphic been wrong all year?
It has.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Instead of remaking it, I just say it's wrong. It's a lot easier for me to do that because I barely have time to do this shit. In-cart camera, Robert Showalter will have an in-cart camera for tonight, getting all the action. Yeah, I just like anybody else, work a full-time job and then some, and then I try and do this on the side. It gets out of control. Green flag out, and Mickey Roop is going to lead the field for the first time in his career, but not for long as Wells goes to the bottom. Showalter with a run.
Oh, and we got...
Ooh, is that Zach?
Zach Campolonia goes for a spin, and CJ Winslow's in the mud. We're going to throw the caution. All right, we'll get our shit together again. Mickey Roop again leads the field as we go back to how they lined up. Green flag back underway. Showalter to the top, Wells to the bottom, and he gets the... Oh. Wells about ran over a track worker there as Showalter takes the lead.
Mickey Roop obviously never started to race on the pole before in his life, made the same mistake twice. He's back to fourth right now, but the Hall of Famer Bobby Showtime all the way up there, banging those boards, and Riggins goes to the inside of him, shoves him a Nerf bar, looks to the inside like, well, that was fucking stupid, and he follows back to third.
And old Mr. Consistency, Stroop running down Bobby Showtime on the top. Craig Smith losing a couple spots in the back as we're on board with Showalter, showing us how to get her done, ripping the lip here at Millbridge tonight.
Banging that right rear off the cush there. Man, it's wild here to watch this stuff. I mean, Bill, you watch this, you come to the racetrack sometimes and watch these races. I mean, what do you think about it when you watch these guys doing this?
Well, first of all, I feel bad for Curtis Markham, already sitting in the infield. I don't know if he got too tired or what, but what I'm watching right now is a battle for the lead as Nick Stroop goes to the inside of Bobby Showtime. Can't quite get it done, loses all his momentum. That lets Jesse Riggins get to the inside of him. In real life, these go-karts are flying. It's kind of scary watching these guys get right up there and bang the boards as hard as they do. Some people get right up on the fence to watch. You can see turns 3 and 4 right there. Those people are stupid because when these guys run out of talent and flip, they're going to catch a mouthful of right rear.
And there's a lot of respect, Jay-Z, when you race in this series with the guys. You see Stroop and Showalter racing each other fairly well. They're throwing sliders, but they're not knocking each other extremely hard right now. So you got to respect the raw speed in these cars.
Absolutely. You're ripping 60 miles an hour sometimes the end of these straightaways here. You're moving pretty good, and if you roll over right up against the top, you're bouncing your skull off the wall or another go-kart. So everyone knows that the danger involved here for what seems like a hobby, but you got to have a huge sack to go up there and win races running the top.
Shows you how big of a sack they have. The top three are way checked out. I mean, these guys clearly have their stuff together compared to the rest of the field. And I mean, they're about to put a bunch of carts down, but these top three guys up here are doing very well.
These guys are going at least 70 miles an hour through turns 3 and 4 as they get in on entry. Jesse Riggins has lost the draft of the lead 2 right now. That's something that might, he's going to have to wait for that 5 to go caution if he's going to catch back up to those guys. The top 2 are bump drafting. They're 2-car tandeming right now, pushing each other out to the front, and they just got to wait till the end right now and not make any mistakes.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Bill. They're two savvy drivers out front. They know not to tear their shit up and knock the right side off before the pay window opens up. So they're taking their time. They'll get through the lap traffic. Maybe Stroop will make an easy move if it opens up, but they've left Riggins in the dust.
Yeah, they're so much better than the whole field right here. I mean, it is ridiculous. And these guys are the cream of the crop. But then you look at the rest of the field down here, just trying to make it happen. Mark Ellis in his debut, running very well.
Is he in a rock machine, Ellis?
Yes, he is. He is in the Mike Rock machine as Craig Smith.
Getting into the way of the leaders, breaking them up a little bit. Yeah, he gets a nice one there from Bobby Showtime as he banks the right rear off the board, one-handed, no big deal. But not the first time we've seen lap cars affect the leaders here in the DNQ series.
you have the move over flag for a reason, and sometimes they throw it and they don't pay attention. But, man, this is pretty fun to watch. And these guys got another group of lap cars coming up, Jay-Z. I wonder how they're going to navigate this.
It's tough because they're racing the hell out of each other just in front of them. You've got guys like Winslow and who was starting the pole there? Yeah, Winslow or CJ Winslow is trying to make a move underneath, can't make it. He's stuck behind Campolonia, and the leaders have nowhere to go as they get stuck behind the deuce of CJ Winslow. We're on board here. As he left rears him. CJ Winslow goes across the nose of Bobby Showtime. We stay green. Oh, as the caution comes out. Never mind.
He didn't have a choice there. And, you know, CJ, you don't have spotters. So let's take a look at the replay here. He was there. You can't slip up because if he does, Stroop's going to take the lead from him. So he's got to protect himself, and that's the only way he could do it.
Definitely one of them racing deals there. You hate to see it affect the lead of the race, but here in the Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series, anything can happen, and that allows the door open for Nick Stroop, and not for long as Bobby Showtime powers back on the outside. But don't look now. Here comes Nick Stroop throwing a haymaker. He slides him.
Gosh.
Showtime jumps to left rear. Jesse Riggins banging the back bumper off of them. Wow, this is a hell of a battle for the lead.
The NASCAR, are you watching? We've got 5 nose to tail. You could throw a blanket over him as we're trying to finish out the race here. Showtime gets a little bit of a gap. Aroop's sitting there fighting for his life as the bad kitty, he's in the back bumper of Riggins, giving him all he can handle.
Yeah, talked to Adam Welsh earlier. He said he doesn't really like running the bottom, but that was where he was the best. As Clint Mills has an issue, and he is going to pull down to the inside. Good to see Clint Mills out here running in the Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series, and that's a problem, Jay-Z. When you try to make a slider like that, there's 3 guys behind you, so you better clear the leader.
Oh, caution's out again. We got one around. Oh, that's for Mr. Mills in the bottom, which is disappointing to see. He's got some talent. He's got some good shit in his trailer. We're hoping to see a little bit better out of him tonight, but just some bad luck as we come back to the green.
Yeah, getting back to that though, if you make this slider, you better make it happen on this restart as we go back green. Because if you don't, everybody's behind you. You're gonna just take your spot away.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be quick about it here. As Stroop moves at the racetrack, runs out of real estate. Bad kitty, Showtime bouncing it off the wall, coming off of 2. Ellis, he's P3 right now, trying to hold off the bad kitty for that podium spot.
Ellis, what a run by him.
Oh, Stroop bumps Showalter up the fence on the bump and run with only a few laps to go.
Showtime is not going to be happy about that. He slides back up into 3rd spot right now. He maybe has time to catch up to Ellis, but there's probably no chance to challenge Nick Stroop for the lead again. Showtime has got to be fuming under that helmet.
I mean, Stroop was right on his bumper the whole time. May have been faster than him, but man, that's a controversial bump and run, a little different way to pass.
It is, but they're fighting over that same, 3-foot wide space on the top. It's like Bristol gets sometimes, you know what I mean? They used to fight on the bottom, now they're fighting the top. We're kind of going through the same evolution here. You can kind of see where the black's getting laid down and the grip is as Stroop takes one to go, and he is checking out on vacation.
Yeah, Stroop coming off of turns 3 and 4. He's going to beat a Hall of Famer, and a future Hall of Famer is going to go ahead and take the win in the Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series. Man, what a race. And then Robert Showalter parked his cart in victory lane after this race, was not happy with Nick Stroop. Let's hear what he had to say to him.
Come on, motherfucker, go. Come on. You do that shit again, I'm gonna knock your fucking teeth down your throat. You about fucking killed me right there. You about fucking killed me. You drove me into the fucking wall, you asshole. Bullshit.
Down here with Nick Stroop in victory lane. You guys, you and Bobby Showtime put on a heck of a show for us. I didn't sit down that whole race. I know none of these fans did. You could probably hear us cheering through your helmet there. What a race, and I'll get to what you guys talked to you afterwards down here.
Yeah, that was an awesome race, man. We're ripping around this place, and it is a little sketchy up there against the wall, and it's just who cannot mess up. I mean, everybody was banging off the wall the whole entire time, and we're all going so fast. I mean, me and Bobby were the class of the field tonight, and I hate what happened to him. He's pissed off. I understand, but I pushed him the entire race. I did nothing different with 3 to go. I mean, I was just on his back bumper, and he got a little tight. His right front hit. I backed off on the brakes because I thought he was going over, and thank goodness he didn't, but I know he's mad, but I hate it that he's mad because we're racing for points, and we're out here every week racing against each other. usually has such a good time out here. And but the deal with Welch, I ran slap over him. I didn't mean to. That was all my fault. Just going in there, I got 2 yellows called back on me for beating him to the line, so I knew I had to dive bomb him. And whenever I did, I realized too late that I was way too far over my head, and I backed out, but I was still on the 4-wheel slide. So I apologize to him. He's pissed off. I'd be pissed off too. But just glad we're in victory lane.
Yeah, so what did he say to you when you guys were down here? He pulled into victory lane. He obviously thought it was his victory lane to have. Did you guys exchange cookie recipes or something?
Yeah, man, we're going to have Thanksgiving later on in the year after the season's over.
Congratulations, Escape Pool Cleaning Night, or Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series. Thanks again. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my wife. She's at home. She got to miss out on it. My brother's here. My dad's out camping. I don't know what he's doing not being here. Chris Mosley came out to help me. I got to thank Phantom Racing Chassis and Kevin Smith Racing Engines.
Marcellus, a hard-fought race there. You hung in there for a long time. The first part of the race, Clinton Mills gave you a heck of a run. You guys were battling for 3rd, 4th, and 5th there and never gave up the whole race, and here you are in 2nd place.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys put on a good show out here. Thanks to Eddie, Ronnie, Mike for allowing me to do this deal, everybody that came out to support. I appreciate it. All the guys, congrats to everybody, and just glad to be a part of it. So thank you to Millbridge and everybody else.
Yeah, heck of a run for your first time here. What you think about running right up there on the boards?
The farther up you get, the more fun it is, and you just got to feel it out and go where everybody else goes, I guess.
Congratulations, debut 2nd place finish, and we'll see you back soon.
Thank you. Oh,
Bobby Showtime down here, a disappointing 3rd place finish, which says something for how you ran. I mean, you and Stroop put on a heck of a show. You held them off for probably more laps than you should have, and then caught some good cautions there. What was it like, you two racing?
I knew he was a little bit faster than me back there, and I understand you wanted to win and pass me. I just feel like pushing me in the corner and knocking me up the wall was the wrong way to do it. But hey, whatever it is, what it is. We'll go on to the next race and see what we can do.
Yeah, anything you could have done different there to hold them off for 2 more laps? And what advice did you have for him?
I think it was a little bit too high on air, and it just didn't have his grip as much as grip as I needed. And I don't know. I seen red when I went halfway fucking upside down. So I don't know. Maybe been behind him and gave him the receiving end of it. I don't know, but it's all good. It's all right.
All right, well, 3rd place finish for Bobby Showtime after the win last week. A little bit of damage here on the right front he's going to have to fix before he comes back out. Congratulations one more time.
Carroll Tractor and Trailer Repair Busch Series. Kyle Brown will be on the pole with Ashton Johnson on the outside pole.
Row number 2, Big Bore Brandon Connard and Dustin Dunn.
Aaron Hodges and Justin Bozier.
Bozier back from a wreck. Ray Thies, Anthony Kidwell on the next row.
Row number 6, Thomas Back Markham and Jonathan Cuervo.
And that's a bad deal. Brad Deal rounds out the field.
Here's the Busch Series 390 stock Predator engine. You can prep in this class. Yeah, it is. I didn't mess this one up. You can prep these tires in this series, so you are allowed to do your Maxes, Hoosier, Burris's. Kyle Brown doesn't even realize what speed he needs to pace the field at. I don't.
Leaning on that clutch.
I'm not really sure what's going on there. Kyle Brown is a great dude. Just probably one of the most misunderstood people I've ever met. Thomas Markham has an in-car camera for tonight here in the Busch Series, and man, the big thing we're stressing, man, we're halfway through the season, stock engines. As we go green, Kyle Brown's going to lead them as they come off of 4. Green is out. Dustin Dunn is out here racing, and
We're having a lot of trouble with starts. We might have to have a bit of a tutorial.
Too slow to pace the field, and then he jumps out in front of everybody. Here we go. Now we're green. There we go. Field it. Wow, that top groove took off right there a little bit, huh? Trying to get that prep wiped in, Jay-Z?
Yeah, that right front wasn't ready. The outside pole sitter there, was it Dunn or whoever it was, just shot right up the racetrack. He couldn't get any heat in there. We'll see if his tires come in later on in the run.
Yeah, this prep class, It's not for me. Jay-Z, I know that you run a lot of this stuff in upstate New York. This is your wheelhouse series, man. I mean, what is somebody watching at home, what is the difference between the two series as Kyle Brown leads?
Well, with a prep, you have the tire, right? Everyone's on the same Maxxis pinks and blues usually. Some may get brave and try a Hoosier or a Burris, for example, but everyone's on the same tire. So you use chemicals to change it to get an advantage. You might roll something on the inside, wipe something on the outside. The inside prep changes the spring rate of the tire. The outside prep changes its resistance to sliding across the racetrack, as we're on board with Back Markham here. And you use your tires to gain that advantage. The prep and the tires gain an advantage. With the treads, the emphasis is supposed to be on the driver. That's where the art form is in your chassis setup. So, I mean, we've seen it where some of the guys that have won, that had prep tires, really checked out in the field. People that may have had no business winning that treaded class, with guys like Stroop and Showalter winning all the time, use that prep and find 0.3 to a half a second with the prep, as Kidwell's getting a good run for his money here. So the biggest thing is the intent with a prep class here. Prep is the art form, especially in the Busch Series. Everyone's around the same talent level, same budget, although I know Tyler Young can throw some stacks at a go-kart team if he wants to. But the difference is, with this prep class, prep is the art form. With the treads, driving and setup is the art form.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like two prep tires because it is such an art form and it takes forever. And like you said before, you get some liquid talent, as we call it, on a tread. Like we saw Jason Asbury earlier this year, who was beating people from the bottom in the Cup Series, which obviously that came to light not long after that. But it's a lot when you start putting prep on these tires. And looks like Kyle Brown's got his prep lined up pretty well as he is pacing the field.
Or Bill, we got someone on the inside there. Tough break for them. These. I mean, Bill, you've talked to a lot of drivers across the Southeast, and I don't know if you get this vibe, but there's almost like a point of pride in having the best tire program for these prep classes, right? Like, they might scale their cart once a month, twice a year at the most, right? Run the same setup for the most part, chassis-wise, at every track they go to. What they're doing is prepping different types of tires for different types of tracks. I mean, do you get that feedback from some of the top teams you're talking to?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a big business, too, because everybody with a swinging dick thinks that they've got the best prep. So they go out there and market themselves, and they're going to spend money on that good driver. They're going to spend money on the best go-kart, newest shit. They're going to go jack off Harold Wiggins 3 times a day to make sure that they get the newest, best thing. And then they're going to, pay big money for that motor with the latest and greatest parts. So it's going to make their prep program look good. So at the end of the day, they can slap that tire treatment sticker on the side of their go-kart and get that cash flow. I mean, we've had plenty of prep sponsors here, the DNQ series. They don't pay us no more, so we're not going to name them. But I mean, that's big business, especially, I mean, all over the country. So exactly like you said, those guys, they might not scale the cart at all, but if they're pushing a little bit, they're going to put a little grippier tire on the front. If they're sliding the back end a little bit, they might put a little softer left rear on, something like that, to make it stick down. And they basically change the handling of the cart with the grip of the tire.
Yeah, as we're looking at Kyle Brown, I don't know if he's getting tired or what, but he's starting to get hounded from second place here. And, yeah, it's just like the stuff comes to life. So you get a little piece of debris there. Dustin Dunn's starting to show up, too. And one thing, Jay-Z, and cautions out for that debris, you mentioned it before that you start to see an inside roll come in as the laps go on. And I don't know what Kyle Brown has on his tires, I would imagine. But there's such an art form to this that there are comers and goers in all these races. The green flag's back out.
Oh yeah, for sure. As we're working here in the last couple of laps of Carroll Tractor and Trailer Repair. Kyle Brown's getting roughed up on the inside there, and that's Anthony Kidwell out of nowhere on the high side. He's P1 as we come to 3 to go.
Kidwell takes the lead away from Kyle Brown. Brown's going to dive it back in there and take it back away.
Yeah, Kyle Brown made that move to the inside. Kidwell crosses him back over, turns it down, shoves him a right side Nerf bar. He beats him to the line, but he's going to have at least 2 more circuits. And that opens the door for Dustin Dunn as we go under caution one more time.
I think this might be our 5. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Totally didn't mean to do that. Kyle Brown goes around.
Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth at DeMartinsville all over again.
All right, only a few laps left. Brandon Connard, he's won races from back here before as we go back green. And I didn't expect him to be the prep guy, but he's done well. Oh, and Boger goes around off of Aaron Hodges' front bumper. Those guys were teammates. I don't know what's going on there as Kidwell's still leading with the caution out. You got to love these Busch races because at the 5 to go, anything happens. Let's see. I don't know, man.
Brake pedals broke on that cart, it looks like.
Must be. Take a look at it again from Thomas Markham's view. Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing to say there. He just straight up hooked his ass. We're not even going to sugarcoat it like they do on TV.
2 carts, 1 space.
Yeah. Ew. Kidwell leads. Looks like Connard going to make the move underneath Dustin Dunn.
Big Boy Connard goes to the inside of Dustin Dunn. He's going to take the 2nd spot away from him. That's going to open the door for all kinds of Hornets to get a run for that last podium spot. But right now, Anthony Kidwell is under fire. He hits the wall. Big Boy Brandon goes to the inside of him, takes the lead away. My God, Brandon Connard has been back in 6th place this whole race, shows up at the very end to snatch this victory away.
He's a 5 to go specialist. At the 5 to go caution, he becomes an instant specialist. You have super speedway specialist, 5 to go specialist. He went in there in the corner, got on the left ear of Kidwell, got him arrow loose, never touched him, got him sideways, never touched him, got him free, and look at him right here. He's going to come off of turn number 4. Let's go down and talk to our actual winner, Anthony Kidwell.
I think Kidwell, 3rd place, podium finish for you. You put on a heck of a show there at the end. We thought you might have it won, and then caught one unlucky caution there.
Yeah, I come off of 1 and 2 like a rocket. It held it on the outside, so I just thought I'd try on the outside and pulled away from them boys. Apparently forgot about me going down the front stretch, and I mean, it is what it is. We're getting better each week, so we'll get them sooner or later, hopefully sooner.
Yeah, definitely improving. What all have you changed in the last couple of weeks to make all those gains?
Nothing. Nothing. Not a thing.
Well, Brandon Connard said you'd rather be lucky than good, so apparently for you too.
Yeah.
Congratulations, podium finishing, Anthony Kidwell.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Finish line Wash Pro Dash Series. Dylan Capello will be on the SRI pole with Joey Gase on the outside pole.
Row number 2, Martin Coberly and Zach Campoloni.
Robert Showalter and Desi Tatuges.
She was okay with having that picture. She doesn't care. David Back Markham and Brian Shaw in the next row.
Stevie Tatuges and Josh Schlong.
Jen Welch and Chris Ginn.
Jamie Edwards and Chris Britt, the 2 Chalou machines in the next row.
The Jacob Ho train and Dan Marak.
And James Seagroves DeCourcy rounds out the field here. Finish line Wash Bros.
Yeah, finish line Wash Bros 390, stock Predator. Brian Shaw's going to take us to the green. Our cameraman didn't get up top in time to capture the green, so here we go. Green flag is out. We're underway, and I love this onboard telemetry that I get sent to me from Brian Shaw. It's got the mile and hours on it, and it's got the track where they're at. And this Dash Series, small tires all the way around. Small treads, D30s, all the way around. And, man, does this make for some really good racing, as they're already 4 wide.
I mean, that looked like the season parted right there. That was crazy.
Seems like that bottom groove's starting to come in, Jay-Z, after that last race.
Yeah, I think that's the cleanest line on the racetrack. As the Busch race is winding down, you can see the angel dust building up in lanes 2 or 3. So I think it's going to take 5 or 10 laps for the track to get worked in again for the guys that want to get hot and heavy on the top side. As we see some side-by-side here with the Tauges and Jen Welcher there in the 71, right?
Yeah. Dylan Capello, that's Josh Schlong. Dylan Capello on the top side. Dylan Capello won the Lucas Oil Modified Series out west, which was like a series that was televised on MAV TV. So he's a pretty good driver, and he's out here messing around at DNQ. He's an engineer at DGR, as right now he is going for the lead.
Yeah, Dylan Capello has really been impressive. So what I really want to do is show up at DGR, especially, or really any front row shop on a Monday or a Thursday morning, and just see who gets to talk the best shit, because there's some really inter-team rivalries going on here in DNQ.
Oh, absolutely. As Zach Campolonia is leading this race right now, just bottom hunting here, Jay-Z, and he's able to make the track smaller and keep the lead, but Capello's got that hot momentum.
Yeah, Capella's catching that hot fart on the top, and you can see him run down the rear bumper of our leader as we got a hornet's nest here in the back. People starting to rip the top and make some hay. That's Showalter leading the charge in the high side as one goes around the bottom.
Chris Britt goes for a spin, and we're going to get a restart here as Campolonia leading. He's gotten pretty good over the last couple of years, and Stephen Todges dives to the inside of him.
Todges started about 12th, and he's made his way quietly all the way to the lead. He's on the bottom. He takes the lead away from Campoloni. Dylan Capello right now, who was going to be your leader, is all the way back to 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. He's going to battle for the lead. That top line gets a hell of a run.
That was a great move right there, Jay-Z. As we're on board with Brian Shaw, he must have got some of Capello's hot fart. Little piece of shit flew out of it.
Yeah, you get that whiff right there in the big nostrils, and it cuts that hole in the fart, and you can suck right up there. As you've got a few people on the bottom here trying to make some headway. Josh Long up P3, but Capello really working that high line. Goes to the middle there, and it's crazy for positions 5, 6, 7, 8.
Josh Long got to be careful not to abuse that right front tire running the bottom like that. That's going to be difficult here as once that tread wears off, it's just not going to turn like it normally does.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about those sharp edges there, Bill, that you mentioned, and wearing that tread block down, and it's all about the strategy. Are you going to back off and run 3 or 4 tenths slower a lap, try to save it for later in the run, or are you going to go like hell and hope you can hold them off? So there's lots of tire strategy afoot here in the Dash Series.
I wonder if there's going to be any hydroplaning here as these guys go out here. Let's mention the tread block 3 more times in this race, too.
Yeah. It's so good. I don't know. Some of these riggings, I've heard the rigging shop has been fielding lots of phone calls about drivers wanting to start an association or an affiliation with them. They've got that good setup. I know Jesse Riggins is running well earlier tonight, and I'm wondering if Dylan Capello maybe made a phone call and got some of those hot setup tips, because he's running well tonight as well, just like Chase Elliott does on most weekends as well.
God, I love Chase Elliott, but there's only one person I love more than Chase Elliott, and that's William Byron. He's not out here in the DNQ series because he's a pussy.
Kyle Larson passed DNQ racer, so there is a Hendrick driver that did run in DNQ. Should have won a championship at one.
Cliffany Daniels, his crew chief, also a past DNQ racer.
There's so many, we can't even go into mentioning all of them in one breath. Ryan Blaney, another one. Corey LaJoy. I mean, all these guys graduated from DNQ.
Yeah, Drew Herring.
We can't really talk about that because of the pending litigation, but let's just say names are made here. Didn't start with that.
Showalter's starting to make a quick march to the front with Joey Gase in tow here, and Stephen Todge is just wearing him out on the bottom, but I would keep my eye on those 3 carts on the top side here towards the end of this race.
Stephen Todge is going to be very disappointed when we get that 5 to go caution the Finish Line Wash Pros Dash Series race. As we go on board with Brian Shaw, he can't see shit, it looks like, and that might explain his erratic driving at times.
He can only see shit, actually.
he could use some 3-ply right now to try to get that thing cleaned off, because I want to talk about how Shaw looks like he's having some trouble hooking the bottom here. Showalter's getting some help. A good push down the back straightaway. Is that from Joey Gase in the 35, I believe?
Yeah,
we need Finish Line Wash Pros to get a hold of that camera so we can see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, Capello, Showalter, Gase, and then Josh Long on the bottom. Long made this feature, had a rough deal in the Pro Cup race, was locked in the field. If you go back and watch the B main for the Pro Cup series for this race, Long did not make the Pro Cup race, as Showalter's going to skate along, and Gase went to the bottom there. Must have known the 5 to go was going to come out. There it is, and Man, we're getting ready to see some hot farts maybe overtake Steven Todges here. What do you think?
I think so. If you watch Josh Long, that cart's pushing real bad right now, and I'm just wondering if the bottom's going away. And being a power top is king right now as Capella makes a move. He splits the needle. Showalter in tow. Todges, he might be in trouble here as the top line really gets rolling.
They got a lot of momentum up there now. They got a couple of cars lined up, got a lot of energy up there. Big runs on the top. Dylan Capello getting a shove from Joey Gase, who we don't see run the top all that often. They're coming to Steven Towges. They make it to the back bumper at the start-finish line. Not quite enough steam. Here we go. He gets to the right rear this time. Little by little, they're gaining on Steven Towges.
2 laps to go for Steven Todges. Can he hold off Capello and Joey Gase as they bump draft their way to the front?
Oh my God, it looks like Towges is crawling down the backstretch compared to that top line. 1 more lap to go around here. Towges holds tight on the bottom, gets 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 car length, a bump from Dylan Capello. Towges holds on for the victory. Capello second. Joey Gase comes home third.
Down here in victory lane with Steven Towges, it looks like it's going to be a Busch ice bath for him. He climbs out of that machine. Gets a disgusting Busch ice bath from all angles. Hug from the wife. Steven, you put on a clinic sticking to the bottom there, looking like Danny Lasowski, creeping around the bottom while everybody else banging the boards up top, but you made it work.
Yeah, it was. I wish we could run the top. We should just douse the bottom so we can run against the wall all night, but it worked finally. First of all, I got Magic. This is the one that got me into this. Huge help by him. Turbo, Josh, all them. Wish the kids were here, but they got school tomorrow, so. But yeah, thanks for the Mafia, Ed Watkins Marine. Hey, if you need a boat, see Ed. Heritage Oak Farms and Towges Trucking. So, and G-Stats, by the way. He's the one that let me run his cart and kind of get addicted to this a little bit. So.
Well, you're going to be running in the USAC series next, but so what happens in the Towges household if wifey beats the hubby?
She's wrecked me actually quite a few times, actually, in the big cars. We settle on our little track we got in the Basher, and I guess that's it. We keep playing.
Polite way to keep the household together. Congratulations, Steven Towges. Heck of a drive tonight, and congrats on DNQ win. Dylan Capello, a second-place run. You guys had a heck of a train going up top, getting a big run down the backstretch, especially on the restarts. That was really exciting. But another second-place finish for the front row teams. Who's got the bragging rights now?
I don't know, but well, he got the technicality win once they DQ'd that guy last week, so he's got a one-up on me. But driver finally showed up last week. We were terrible, but that was on me. So obviously the cart's fast, but it was fun ripping the top there. I thought I was going to get a run on him with like 3 to go there, and probably should have dove under him and tried to do something with it there when I had the chance. But man, it's fun running the top and having 2 groups.
Yeah. So how do you set up the car when it's 2 lanes like this? Do you have to choose the top or the bottom, or you just go with what's the best?
That's kind of how I felt. I went to the bottom a couple times, and I just didn't have like the setup. It was a little bit free. I was carrying a ton of momentum coming off the top, so it just didn't work out. But I just kind of stayed committed to the top and was hoping I was going to get a run on them and just carry momentum, but almost worked out. I want to thank Kyle Moon for the badass piece.
Dylan Capello, not a drop of sweat on him, looking like he just woke up. Congratulations on a second-place finish. And Joey Gase, another podium finish for you, 3rd this time. Need a little bit helmet maintenance there by your interior specialist, Turbo Tyler Richmond. What was it going to take to get up there and battle for the lead?
I had too much gear on it. I was hitting the surge at the end of the straightaway, but I should have just stayed committed to the top from the beginning. We maybe had a shot, but big congrats to Steven there, and it was fun. It was a little dicey for sure, but it was like super speedway tandem racing there. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, you guys had a heck of a train there. You guys were shoving for sure. Did you learn anything in that dash series that's going to help you in the champ buggy?
I don't think we can push like that in the champ. If we do, it's in one mistake and it's going to be pretty ugly, but we'll see what happens.
Joey Gase hoping for a little more tame race in the USAC series. Congrats on third place and podium finish.
USAC starting lineup on the pole is Michael Bumgardner and Desi Todge's great qualifying effort outside.
Or number 2, Johnny Kidwell, and our most recent winner, Stephen Towers.
Kidwell in the 128 and Charlie Hingen in the 62.
Kingen, Joey Gase, and Mike
Kingen.
Contarino in the next row.
Curtis Beeson and Dirty Air Don.
Dylan Poole and Cowboy Carmine in the 007.
Zach Donahue and David Crops in our next row.
Sharp-looking machine, David Crops. Rob Bates and Steve Carmine.
They'll round out the field for USAC, 425 Champ Buggy chassis. There you go. Man, this series is... I've been so impressed with the guys in this series and the field size of this series, man. Got to thank everybody that races in it. This has been really good.
They've had good shows most nights as well, so I think the fans appreciate it. Hats off to competitors for showing up and buying out every buggy in the Southeast as we get ready to go green here for USAC.
Mike Bumgardner on the pole, and the green flag is out. And here we go. We're always suspicious of somebody in a leather jacket that gets in treads and is automatically extremely fast. So I am fairly suspicious about the cart that's leading this race right here. And before this race started, we even talked to them and told them that a sample was going to be taken from the tire no matter what after the race. So they were warned beforehand as we go green. I will preface it with that as Bumgardner leads.
Yeah, these fucking clowns knew after practice that they were going to be teched and were told to change tires and didn't. How stupid can you be?
We didn't tell them to change tires. We told them if there is shit on these tires, please go get another set from somebody because it's going to get cut at the end of the race. I don't care. Not taking a sample now. At the end of the race, we're going to take a sample. So they were warned beforehand, way beforehand. And I'll just leave it at that. So you probably know what's going to happen to them.
It's like DNQ, don't ask, don't tell. We're giving you a chance to address it. We don't want to know now. Just make sure the test passes at the end of the night, and maybe it didn't pass at the end of the night.
Maybe it didn't.
DNQ needs to start sending out a comms sheet.
Well, he's leading right now. You know what? I haven't seen the USAC guys run the top, so this is probably the first night we're really starting to see USAC guys start to tickle the high side a little bit as the caution's out. We're gonna do another. I don't even know what the caution was for there. It was maybe a piece of debris or something. But green flag back out. Kingen getting shoved down to the bottom of that racetrack by Joey Gase. Bumgardner gonna skate away, but the Todge's family, husband and wife beating on each other in carts, hitting each other there down the front stretch. Man, Desi Todges does a good job, man. She's been pretty fast tonight.
Hell yeah, 5 wide on the top side. Here she comes. Remember that name, all these race teams.
You know, I understand that they've had a lot of work with Kyle Larson and some of the Hendrick development team, a lot of sim time, trying to find out what that magic has been for those Hendrick 1, 2, 3, 4 finishes as of late. And I think that the Todges family has been able to take that data and really apply it to their own racing setups.
Oh, here we go. We're on board with David Crops. And this is the view that you would see if you were driving this car. This is exactly what you see.
Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing that I won't see is my cock wrapped around my leg like he's got to, because that sucker clangs when he walks. But, I mean,
whoa, Kidwell.
Whoa.
Smashing into the side of Desi Todges as he tried to throw the slider there, couldn't do it. And that's what we were talking about earlier in the Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series feature is when those, you watch Showalter and Stroop throw sliders, they don't slam into each other like that because they can't. So, you know, that's what we're talking about. These guys are learning, though, as they're driving these carts.
You know, I wonder if the cage kind of gives you a false sense of security sometimes. But, you know, one good solid rip can ring your bell, and it'll change your whole perspective on shit. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
You know, if I had one of these, I would add a bar on the left side of it. just in case you started to flip. I don't think it's a bad idea. As we're watching these USAC guys navigate this beautiful Millbridge Speedway here tonight. Track prep is beautiful. Jeremy did such a good job, and obviously the racing product is showing it.
Yeah, it's the first we've seen these guys really get up near the wall, and I bet tonight David Mayo is really kicking himself for not coming out and racing, because he's tried to run the high side all year long, and the track just hasn't given it to him. And tonight, the track's there up top, and he's not. So, David Mayo, get your ass back out here. You never know when it's going to be your night.
Desi Todd just leading Mike Conrita there. Is Charlie Kingen just rocking the bottom.
Yeah, Kingpin has been working on his aero again and again. Every single week we see something new on that car, a little panel here, a little more angle there. It looked like this week that he had a left side sail panel on it. A lot of tunnel time that he's been working on that machine, and it's paying off. I mean, he's in a podium spot right now, and let's see if he can come home with the third consecutive podium for that race team.
We all saw it when Joey Gase had that right side piece on Jay-Z, and we said, well, he won the race. So now everybody's going to do something like that, and Charlie Kingen is definitely taking it next level.
Yeah, he's pushing, and he knows the rules. He knows you get a couple pass-throughs of that tech line, but before you get tossed, so he'll run into the Hawkeye one time, see what he gets away with, make the changes, keep that notebook, and he's constantly developing the aero package on that USAC champ card. As we got, one of the Todges around. That's a tough break.
Steven Todd just goes for a spin here. Let's take a look at what happened. Oh, he got a little help there from Anthony Kidwell. Kidwell, a little bit of a weapon here in this race tonight, huh?
Yeah, maybe a little
Very
upset.
Ricky Stenhouse of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little upset, not running as well as he did earlier as we go back under green. And
John?
Kingpin to the bottom. He's going to try to make the slider on Bumgarner. Can he get up there? No. Bumgarner goes back by on the outside. Kingpin dedicated to that bottom. He's trying to make it work, but just scrubbing a little bit too much speed off in 3 and 4.
Yeah, as the guys go by him, Johnny Kidwell up to second in that John Kinder machine, doing a great job for not really running any treaded classes, and he runs a buggy quite often.
Yeah, that whole Kidwell camp, or Kinder camp, they do.
Kinder with Kidwell. Kidwell's driving Kinder's car.
Yeah,
there you
whatever.
go. Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is, first time he's running that car, so had to get the seat right, had to get the insert poured, after all of the mirror and wheel adjustments that drivers got to do when they get in somebody else's machine. It looks like he's right at home, comfortable running down that Bumgarner machine.
The thing that I like about Kidwell is he showed up and he was actually working on the car. He wasn't an arrive and drive guy. He's out there helping work on it and getting it right as the 5-to-go caution is out. So we'll see what happens here on this restart as Kingpin on the bottom, Kidwell up top, and Bumgarner leading.
Hey, Kingpin's not far off. It just looks like he could use like 3 or 4 more teeth to really get that car to drive up off the bottom. He just doesn't quite have the momentum that the high side hustlers had this evening. As he's right there in the restarts. He just slowly starts losing ground as they get those hot farts off the top.
I'm wondering if he gets a little more ballsy and slides up a little bit farther and packs some air on the spoiler of those top cars, if he can drag them down a little bit and then slide up in front and take that lead away.
With all that aero, do you think he's got too much drag now? Is he getting side drafted down the front stretch, making him slower?
He might be. As those cars slide by on the outside, it's going to push air over on all those side panels, and that's going to add a lot of drag to that machine and drag the motor down and slow him down. That might be not working in his favor when those guys get a big run off the top side.
Yeah, white flag is, Kingpin just may have too many counts, which is counting him out, but he's trying like hell as Bumgarner's barely holding off Kidwell here. Kidwell to the top, Bumgarner to the bottom. Kidwell tries to turn it under. Bob, let's see what happens here at the end of the race. I heard you got some information from the tech shed.
He failed the tire test. Let's go down to Kidwell.
Second place down here, Johnny Kidwell. Heck of a run there at the end. You got to his door at the start-finish line. What could you have done different?
I think I should have arced it a little bit higher in 3 and 4. I don't know if I would have been able to get him, but I think it would have been a little bit closer. It was tough. Me and Mike had our battles, racing at Liberty and stuff like that, and you know, me and him always race each other clean. You know, I knew if I could just push him in the last 5 to go, try to get away from everybody else, then we have our own race, just like we always do. But I can't thank these guys enough. John Kinder, Rims 1, KSR Motors. This was a freaking blast, man. I had a blast. It's fun, fast as hell. You know, I mean, it's definitely a difference than running pinks and blue maxis there. But so I'm ready to go back again. Let's go.
Yeah, this is probably the closest John Kinder's come to a win in months. But what's it like running right up there against the fence? You did it perfectly.
Yeah, I was a little worried about it. John called me yesterday and was like, with all this rain, you know, it sounds like it's going to be the top side. And I was like, he's like, you ready to run the top? I said, hey, whatever's fast. And the first practice laps, I was a little sketchy, you know, letting off. But, man, there's some good guys out here. We qualified 4th, but you know, after running 30 damn laps, you know, I think I got a hold of it. So I'm ready to come back again. Let's go.
Yeah, congratulations, Johnny Kidwell, on a heck of a second-place run. Down here, third-place finisher, Charlie Kingpin. I mean, heck of a run there, eating the bottom up every single lap. It looked like the top just had that much more tonight. What's it like? It looks like you got some new aero stuff on here. You've been working on that machine, haven't you?
That's all we do is just sit and play around and try to figure out what we can do. And the top line did not work for us. We're going straight to the bottom. It was going to work one way or the other.
Well, you made your way all the way back up to 3rd. It looks like you could have thrown a couple haymakers there on some restarts, but you were awfully polite.
Yep, I like to race everybody clean. I mean, I like to be able to go to work next day.
Congratulations, second podium finish in a row, 2 out of 2. Next week, let's get it one more up.
I'd like to see it happen.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup Series starting lineup. Carson Ferguson driving for the Zach Smith machine is on the pole with Connor on the outside pole.
Chris Lawson and Jesse Riggins.
Eric Riggins and Austin Compton.
J.R. Norris making his first feature with Nick Bashford in the next row.
Row number 6, Chris Guin and Jay Zarapata.
Next row, Chris Bailey and Adam Wilcox.
Brian Shaw and Eric Yost in the next row.
Mike Contarino and Zach Stroop.
Stroop starting towards the rear.
Dylan Latour and Ryan Ayers starting in the back as well.
Ayers almost missed the show. That was when Josh Long. Go back and watch the B main on our YouTube channel. Here's the info for the series. Josh Long went in there with like 3 laps to go and punted Ayers. And they were both locked in, as shows an in-car camera. And what happened was Ryan Ayers made probably the biggest march to the front to make it in the A main that I've ever seen in my life. It's on our YouTube channel as a green flag is out. Carson Ferguson driving for Zach Smith takes the lead. But here comes Jesse Riggins.
Jesse Riggins to the bottom, followed by his brother Eric Riggins, and they both get a shove from Lawson. Lawson turns Riggins around, and Brian Shaw going to need finish line wash pros out there to clean that camera off one more time. Yeah, no brake pedal in that 38 car.
Amazing.
People save weight in the strangest areas.
Yeah, that was definitely a ludicrous move, bitch, get out the way moment.
Yeah.
Take on board with Brian Shaw for this one.
Whoa!
Nerf bar.
Boom.
Doesn't look like much. That's a Nerf bar right there.
Yeah. Nothing he could have done.
He might be able to bend it out. Nothing he could have done. All right, here we go. Carson Ferguson leading this thing with Brandon Connor on the outside. Lawson and Riggins. Green flag were underway. And, man, you got to love this Pro Cup Series, man. Ultra competitive. Only start 18. Had about 30 entries for this class. And, man, it has grown so much as Lawson going to slide her up in front of Jesse Riggins.
Riggins turns it back underneath him, and he's able to cut back down into the... Well, now he goes by Big Boy Brandon and puts it in the second spot. He picks off 2 in one corner.
Nick Stroop is already up to 4th spot from starting damn near scratch in the field. Hell of a drive from him so far tonight.
Yeah, last year's champion knows what it takes to win the championship in this series. Consistency. One thing I want to point out, Jay-Z, we saw Zach Smith fail tech for his tires. And we're seeing Austin Compton, who's his teammate, not run really well at all tonight. Do you think that he had the same thing going on and said, oh, shit, this is going to get caught, we need to backpedal?
He might have, because when you have more grip on that right rear and those right side tires bite more, you can run more left side weight to try to get that roll speed in. And when you have to put those unprepped tires on, man, your whole setup goes out the window. So it could be they changed tires and he's got to go back to the drawing board and put some extra time in the shop as we're under yellow here.
You know, the beauty of people buying tires at Millbridge is we know who buys a new set of tires when they buy them. So here you go. I'll just put it to you that way. Green flag is how we're underway. We know who's buying the tires after somebody fails. So there it is. You can't really hide it from us.
Don't look now,
All right.
but Eric Riggins all the way back up into third spot after being involved in a first lap incident. Went to the tail. He's made his way back up on the podium. Zach Stroop trying to get back past him on the high side. That is all the same camp right there, the Riggins Motorsports camp. God, I love Riggins Motorsports almost as much as I love Chase Elliott.
I love Chase Elliott too, but I'm just wondering what's going on with the rest of this field here. Like, my boy Brian Shaw, I expected a little bit more out of him so far this evening. He's been trying to run the bottom as we're on board with him now, and he just can't get that cart down to the white line. He goes to turn the wheel, and the whole cart kind of drifts up the racetrack. He's got too low of an entry. He's just seems like he's all over the place tonight as he's getting freight trained by the drivers on the high side here. It looks like he's going to lose a few more spots here this evening.
The track is slicked off quite a bit. Like, are we searching for moisture right now here, Jay-Z, you think? Or are he's just trying to do what he can do?
Yeah, I think there is no moisture, and that's why everyone's on the top, because they're looking for that berm, that cushion, to bang that right rear off of to keep him from sliding any farther and get that drive off, because all the people on the bottom seem to be fighting the go-kart pretty hard.
I mean, it's rubbered up pretty good. You can see it right there. I mean, there's a ton of rubber on this racetrack here, so I don't know if it's starting to slick up, and that's why Shaw's shallowing his entry up a ton, but either way, he's towards the back here. As right now, Carson Ferguson leading this race, making it happen, and the rest of the Riggins camp behind him as well. And like we said about Zach Stroop, a past champion, knows what it takes to get it done, and he's definitely showing out in the top four.
Yeah, Carson Ferguson right now taking that 70 machine, and that clean air is really paying off for him. But I want to go back here to see Chris Lawson, who has made the podium a couple times here in DNQ, looking for that bragging rights as he goes back to the front row shop on Monday.
Racing with Ryan Ayers, who started shotgun on this field, and he is already up to the 6th position. Doing a great job. Ayers, one of those drivers in the Pro Cup Series, always a threat to win this race. Seemed to taper off a little bit, but we'll see what happens as we go on board with Brian Shaw, who is racing Brandon Conard.
Yeah, Big Bore Conard on the outside, making passes look easy because he's got a big motor on that thing. Brian Shaw trying to slide him, can't quite get it done, ends up sliding himself and loses a little bit of speed there. That time it looks like he was able to make it stick, handling a little bit better than Big Bore Brandon.
They're coming off of forward. There's that light patch of dirt there where the rubber hasn't really built up on it yet, and I think the drivers are trying to really hook that bottom coming off forward. You can see right there that Eric Riggins is running through. It's giving him some good drive off.
Carson Ferguson doing a great job. I think he's related to Conard. I'm pretty sure. I don't know the whole Conard and Ferguson family, but I'm sure they're related somehow. But he is leading right now. Somehow they're inbreds, yeah. They're all from the same dirt track, right?
Yeah.
He's leading right now. Eric Riggins in 2nd. And, man, there's talent levels all over the place. Different lanes here in the Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup Series. And great to see it as Ayers going to try to pull the slider on Lawson.
There we go. Ayers slides Lawson. Lawson turns it back down. Had a lot of momentum off the top. Lawson's going to slide himself, and that makes it work in front of Ayers. Ayers turns it back down under him. He's going to throw a slider back at Lawson. Lawson turns it back down in the middle. They are going tit for tat.
I think when you're by yourself, this is when you start racing like this. When you're in a pack, like if there's a bunch of carts, you just hit the guy's bumper and try to get by everybody. As now the leaders are starting to hit some lap traffic, but that's some great racing that we're seeing here.
Yeah, DNQ series always provides great racing every single week. And it looks like tonight with 2 lanes right here, we have guys dedicated to the bottom and we have guys dedicated to the top. Jay-Z, we've talked about this before, but what does it take? Do these guys decide where they're going to run before the feature starts?
Is this their 5-to-go caution?
Yes, it is. And
I think guys want to run the top because they look like a hero, but if they get up there and there's just no grip and that track's really slicking off, Riggins to the bottom, Zach Stroop, he ends up being the prettiest out of the bunch here. We're 4 wide through 3 and 4. This is going for the win. Big Boar Connard up to 3rd.
We're 4 wide back for 5th place. Ferguson turns it down underneath Big Boar. He gets it past, but Riggins pitches him down to the white line. That doesn't work for him. Right now, it's Zach Stroop, and he gets a left side nerve bar full of Ferguson, tries to pull him back, can't quite reach the motor, and just turns him. Did not
and you know what the worst part about that is Riggins caused that wreck. Yeah. That's the best part about that, is he got pissed off at him, and Riggins is the one who did it. Watch the replay. Watch this. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Like, just Stroop, obviously mad, which don't reach at a cart again. Stroop has a bad habit of doing that, and then he just dumps the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So Stroop will start in the rear for this restart. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you move somebody out of the way like that. He'll go to the back. So here we go. That gives Riggins the lead with Ayers, Connard, Shaw, Compton, and Bashford as the green flag is out.
Eric Riggins was all the way in the back of the pack on lap number 2, and now he leads the race. Jesse Riggins coming from nowhere, passing 4 or 5 carts at a time, looking like a torpedo shot down that backstretch.
I think that contact for Compton there in the wreck's really thrown off his go-kart. He can't do anything, but we got Slide Job City here up at the front for the top 3 with 1 to go.
Right now it's Eric Riggins, Big Boar Connard, 1-2. They are easily going to finish 1st and 2nd for the team. Who's going to come home 3rd? Jesse Riggins makes it a clean sweep of the podium for Riggins Racing. I am hard as a rock right now.
Ryan Ayers did not pass Tech either as we got to caution. Brian Shaw is declared the winner. We're not going to talk to anybody because if they fail Tech, we don't do interviews. Brian Shaw is going to be the winner of tonight's race of the Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup Series after Engine Tech. So we had some issues with engines. Our tech official said they're not right. The bore is too big. He has ways of measuring it. He has ways of looking at it. We'll show it to you here in a little bit. Here are your final results of the Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup Series feature.
Jay-Z, you got to be hard right now. Your boy finally won.
Oh, it's going to be Fap City later tonight, man. I am proud of that guy. He works hard. He's been biding his time and doing it the right way. You know what I mean? I'm happy for him. I'm going to send him a 12-pack of Jenny Light on me to enjoy and celebrate his win.
2nd, Austin Compton, somebody Bashford, and Carson Ferguson comes home 4th after leading most of that race. Got to be disappointing, but that's what happens when you get in a pissin' match with the Stroop family.
Chris Gwynn will finish top 5, and you know, it's just part of it. The payout will go to the next race because Brian Shaw did not go through Engine Tech. That's how the series works. If you don't go through Engine Tech, and we were checking engines that night, the money rolls over. So he gets you know, like a little bit of a consolation prize for this race. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Dash Series. We saw Stephen Todges did pass a tire sample, so his tires were clean. Dylan Capello, though, a close 2nd. This was a really good race.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Escape Pool Cleaning Dash Series is always a good race, but tonight...
Finish line Wash Pros Dash Series.
It's all right. Just keep going. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Finish Line Wash Pros Dash Series is always a good race, but tonight at Millbridge, when the top and the bottom were both working, that just opened it up to a whole new level of passing and runs like we haven't seen in quite a while.
Yeah, Escape Pool Cleaning picked a heck of a race night to sponsor overall. We were talking about Capello running the top and Gase doing the same thing. We got some people like Shaw running the bottom and Josh Long trying to do the same thing, making hay. So it was a good show all around. This series has taken off, this Dash series.
All right, let's talk about the Escape Pool Cleaning Cup Series in Escape Pool Cleaning Night. Nick Stroop takes a win. Mark Ellis, by far, is the surprise of the whole thing.
Yeah, his first race for DNQ, heck of a run. I mean, just hung in there, ran 4th or 5th, learned the car, learned the racetrack, and when it counted, he was there at the end to finish P2.
I think it goes to show the strength of that route racing organization. Ellis, is obviously slouch if he's finishing P2 to a Stroop, but being able to hop in that go-kart right from the get-go and be competitive, it just goes to show that he's got a good piece sitting underneath him, and they did well before they even got to the racetrack.
Yeah, Team Reaper, as has become to be known, they went from like a 17, when they had the Allens, they were like a 17-cart operation down to 1. So that tells you when we were talking about this last year, Bill, in the summer, saying it wasn't going to work. Well, obviously it didn't. But now that they're a 1-cart piece, things are starting to work out for them. Carroll Tractor Trailer Repair Busch Series. Anthony Kidwell gets the win after engine tech. We had a couple guys fail engine tech over multiple issues, but he's your winner tonight with Aaron Hodges in second.
Yeah, good finish by Aaron Hodges. Haven't seen him on the podium yet, I don't think. At least I don't remember, but that doesn't say much. Dustin Dunn coming home on the podium, P3. We've seen that team struggle a little bit when their leader Tyler Young isn't at the racetrack. He had another Tinder date he had to go to, wasn't able to make it. Hopefully he can be back at the track and get that team back at victory lane.
Yeah, let's not sell Kidwell short. I mean, with a 5 to go caution, he made some moves, and I think he led a couple laps there towards the end. He just didn't get it done, but it fell into his lap by doing it the right way. So congrats to him tonight.
Yeah, Kidwell went through engine tech all night. Like, we tore his engine down to the head and checked everything, and he was good. So a legit earned stock engine win for Kidwell. John Kidwell, his brother, is going to take home the win in the USAC feature with Charlie Kingen in second after the tire test came back, and they ran such a good race.
Yeah, Kingpin worked the bottom the whole night and was able to make it work. Steven Talges, he's really been a quiet guy. Reminds me of LJ McCleary, who's just constantly good, never really exciting. You don't really say his name much, and then you're like, where did he come from? And Steven Talges is going to turn out to be a frequent winner here in the DNQ series.
Yeah, and Kropp's another top 10. He's getting his program together. Things are working out for him. Joey Gase with a disappointing 4th. I don't know if it was just an off night for him or the competition is stepping up here and really making him work for those top 5s now. So it was a good race all around. Fun to see those cage cars running the top.
You know, we talk about LJ McCleary and all these guys. We're going to make a Hall of Fame on the DNQ website. So we're actually going to start that. I just thought that was funny. All right, let's go over this real quick. Blue Ridge Labs, this is what they send to us, which they do World of Outlaws. They do a bunch of other stuff. Originally, they had a typo on their date. This is the actual paperwork that we got. A lot of people are giving a shit about it. As you can see, those serial numbers, 66. This is Stephen Todges with the 66 on the end of his serial number. This is Bumgardner with the 65. As we go back through the paperwork, 65 is Bumgardner. It failed. It's a D50. Todges passes D30. So Blue Ridge Labs is one of those people that do tire tests all the time. They have hundreds of them. And we pay a lot of money to this lab to have them test tires, and they are a legitimate source when it comes to tire testing.
Yeah, I mean, they ain't scared to throw out Bloomer or any of those guys, and we don't use this lab by accident. Like, they're the best in the business. No cost spared here at DNQ, and what you get is something real. We know if you got Simple Green on it, it ain't, these fails aren't a little bit. You know, it's not like, oh, I mounted my tire in the same tire ring that I use for the Busch Series. No, it ain't trace amounts. Like, this is a prepped tire. So if you fail, you purposely did something and you fail. So your ass is thrown out, no bitching about it. And you're going to have to pay your fine if you're going to come back and race, but most likely you're just going to badmouth us on social media, and that's going to be the end of it. So we don't need you here anyway.
I mean, I don't know what to say when the report comes back and it's like, we found a trace of Windex, but also we found diesel fuel, transmission fluid, goof off, and meth on the tire as well. And it's like, I don't think that's by accident. You know what I mean? That wasn't a mistake. So, I mean, guys, I know racers love to bitch, especially go-kart racers. I'm one. I get it. I do it too. You know, one year we won an award in the middle of the day, got bounced for our starting position before the feature at the end of the day, and we told the race director to shove the award up his ass at the end of the day. So I mean, I get it, right? I'm no angel, but you guys, we do this week in and week out, and you guys are paying these fines, and that fine money can buy you another set of tires. Like, just come on, man. Like, I don't know what else to do. You guys, you're wasting your money at this point. You're wasting your time too. Prepping takes time, man. Do something else. Find speed someplace else.
Are going to people that are legal. Like, you don't get to keep the win. It's clear. Just don't cheat.
Yeah, we are committed to making sure that we can tech the best that we can tech. And we want to keep the costs down. We want to keep the racing level playing field for everybody. So that's what we're doing when we take tire samples. Here's the stock engine, which not all of them look like that. I am well aware before anybody blasts me on the internet. This is the stock engine that we have in possession. This is what the inside of a carburetor looks like. And the inside of that carburetor ranges from 610 to 612. And this is the other carburetor that was not allowed to pass tech after checking it. And, we had a snap gauge. We checked it. It was 615, and 615 drug right through it. So this has obviously been worked on. And on social media, we got hounded for this back and forth, left and right. I mean, look, Mike's the tech guy. He says this is too big. He has a snap gauge to check it. He slicks it through there, and it goes through. If you don't like it, don't come. Mike is a tech official. He makes the final call on it. So we're going to make some gauges and work on some judgment call stuff. But this is not acceptable. It's not going to pass. So that's the end of the story, basically.
If you poons bring your engine builder to take your stock motor through tech, you're an idiot.
If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck and is 3 thou over, it's cheating. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. I mean, there's a tolerance, right? Like the engine builder, the tech guys, everyone in the pits, most of us have been on a long time. Like we know what the difference is, and no one's stupid, right? If you buy a Predator and you put the time in to take it apart and you realize you're like 59 and you know the rule's 62, maybe you're going to punch it out to 62 and hopefully it'll pass, but you're punching it out another 3 thou past that. Like there's no gray area there with this stuff. You know what I mean? I know we're in the process of developing some more concrete tech tools, even though in Jay-Z's humble opinion, I don't think it's needed. If it measures 65, it's illegal, right? But we're going to make a no-go. So if the no-go go, we know you're illegal. And just make it simpler for everybody. So I hope we crack down on it. We're, Bob, Bill, I want to reiterate, no one likes taking a win away from somebody. You race your ass off out there trying to win, cheating or not. You tried hard, right? You put effort into the shop during the week. No one wants to take that win away from you, but you're making us do it so we can keep a fair playing field and keep new people coming to the sport.
Yeah, the last thing we want to do is throw people out. But when we have stuff that, like we had another one fail because the cam didn't have enough lift, there's a stock number on that cam. Whether you shave it or somebody messes something up messing with it, it's been messed with. We have a 2 thou tolerance in that lift. When you're 12 thou below it, it's not stock. It's not how it comes. So and the jets are how they come. I mean, we have all this stuff on the internet. It's not a surprise to anybody. If it's not right, it's not right, and that's the end of the story. So, I mean, we can get people yelling on internet and stuff like that. It's not going to change the way we do tech. So you can't intimidate us into changing our minds.
Bob, how many angry Facebook messages have you gotten since we started talking about
Dude,
this?
Enough to where I'm covering this shit. All right, let's take a look at USAC point standings after we're halfway through the year. Joey Gase leading. Mike Melton had to have a driver race for him tonight because he had to drive his truck and trailer to the racetrack. But, man, he's 15 back, and Charlie Kingpin looks like a 3-horse race.
Yeah, it's right there, and those 3 are really good in this USAC series. I mean, it could be anybody's night, and they're going to take the points lead.
Agreed.
All right. This is escape pool cleaning. Nick Stroop and Showalter. Welsh has an outside chance to maybe win this championship as we go to some oddball races like the road course and the fair. But he's got a lot of work to do to make it there.
Yeah, Nick Stroop and Showalter, I mean, we saw it tonight. Those 2 are really, really good. And I just want to point out, like, we haven't failed those guys in tech. You can be legal and win. These guys are leading the points. If they get tossed, you know, that's going to take one or both of them out completely. Like, that's going to put them down in the 5th, 6th spot range, and that's going to put Bad Kitty Adam Welsh right back up to the top. So if I'm Nick Stroop or I'm Bobby Showtime, I am not cheating on anything for the rest of the year because it's almost a lock for those 2.
Yeah, we're seeing some names up in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th that I wouldn't normally expect to be there. We got Roop, who we saw started on the front row, right, and fell like a boat anchor towards the back of the field, but he's still hanging on to a top 5 points finish, which is pretty respectable. At one point in time, I picked Jimmy Allen to be a threat for the championship, but we just haven't had him at the track lately. I don't know what's going on with that family. Maybe they won the lottery and moved to Tahiti or something like that, and they're just sipping Mai Tais. But if you show up every week and you're legal, you can have a damn good finish at the end of the season.
Yeah, the championship pays a hell of a lot more than the race does.
We actually did pay the champions in top 3 last year. So here we go. Dash Series, Finish Line Wash Pros Dash Series. Showalter has the lead. Joey, this is a tight one. This one's going to be close because I feel like the top 4 guys could win a championship.
Yeah, we're basically looking at the top 4 in the race almost every single week. And that's why those 4 are leading the points as much as they are. But Bobby Showtime, yeah, he's got a little fire under his ass right now. Joey Gase and Steven Towns are going to have to be a little bit more aggressive than they have been if they're going to knock him off the top spot.
Yeah, Towns, I'm really impressed with Towns. Beginning of the season, you saw him running 10th, 11th, 9th, and every week he seems to run 1 or 2 positions better. He's getting that good notebook going. I know his wife is doing well also. Good for them. They're kind of like the dark horse of the series. I'd like to see him move up and maybe sneak in there for a championship. Who knows? Anything could happen.
All right, let's take a look at the Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup Series points. Tied. Brian Shaw has the tiebreaker after all the failures in tech we've had. I mean, obviously these guys are going to be on our radar next, but they're tied in the points right now. So this is, I mean, even Zach Stroop, last year's champion, has a pretty good shot at coming back.
He's not out of it. 53 is, he's going to have to string together a bunch of good nights in a row, but he's definitely not out of it. Brian Shaw with the win today, that moved him up to the top, and Austin Compton, I mean, he's no slouch either. He's knocked off a top 5. Bashford was on the podium. But Zach Stroop is probably the quickest out of them all. You're gonna have to keep your eyes on this Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup series because this could be switched around any race for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think Shaw has just been steady Eddie and had those consistent top 5 finishes where, like you pointed out, Bill, Stroop's been the fastest, right? He's had the best piece all season long. He just has had some bad luck, So we'll see. It's going to be a hell of a show. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season pans out for Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup.
All right, let's take a look at the Carroll Tractor and Trailer Repair Busch Series point standings. Anthony Kidwell will take the lead from Aaron Hodges. This series, it's such a weird series. We have people in and out of this deal so much, and we have ARCA points too, but it's basically the same thing. It's definitely weird, but I think Anthony Kidwell's probably the best, minus Dylan Teasley, who's really good too. It's going to be between those two, I think.
Yeah, if Ratchet Jaws would just show up to every race, he could be leading this thing right now. But he's missed a couple of races, and that puts him 55 points back from Kidwell. Kidwell has just been slow and steady, and he's in contention now. He's not a threat to win every single week, but he's right there if some of the top guys make mistakes.
It's tough when you wake up on the floor of the Young Motorsports motorhome covered in glitter and booby tassels hung over. It's tough to get to the track on time. So I get it, but we hope he gets his priorities in order and he can get there and be leading this championship. You guys touched on Hodges just quietly doing what he needs to do every single week. Same thing with Kidwell. And Kidwell's a bit of an OG, if you will. He's raced this series quite a bit, so he knows what needs to happen. And Connor, if he wants to continue running prep consistently, he's way back there, but he could steal a couple first place or second place finishes and really mess up the top of the point standing this year. So I'm excited to see what happens here in Carroll Tractor and Trailer Repair Busch Series.
Yeah, you get one sub driver, and that's what Teasley used tonight with Dustin Dunn. So that's where he got his points. So want to thank everybody for tuning in. Obviously, we know we've got some stuff that needs to change or get better with, but I mean, look, we're doing what we can, and everybody learns. We have learning experiences from everything, but things have to be right in DNQ.
I think that's another topic for the next podcast is what is right and wrong, right? Is it what the loudest person on Facebook Messenger typing in all caps is saying, or is it what's going to continue to draw these fields where we're sending carts home in every single class, right? 3 pissed off people and 25 happy people isn't necessarily a problem. So that'd be a good topic for a podcast.
Yeah, don't forget to tune in to wherever you get your podcasts from. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, all of the major carriers. So yeah, if you haven't been tuning into the DNQ Series podcast, next time you're driving to work or your old lady's house, wife, girlfriend, whatever, girlfriend after wife, wife after girlfriend, whatever, go ahead and tune on the DNQ Series podcast. Don't forget to like us, jack us off, buy us some beer, and all the rest.
Yeah, if we get sponsorship, we'll do that shit once a month. But right now, when we don't get any money for it, we ain't doing that shit unless we feel like it. So for Bill Chester and Jay-Z, I am Bob Duato. We'll see you guys at the next race, Filthy Mechanic Pro Cup night. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.